Today, this is your time. What would you like to do? Would you like me to read the questions from the audience? Would you just like to take the stage? How would you like this to flow?
Well, we could do a little bit of both. Yesterday, I mentioned the gene key 55,
Mhm.
and I'd love to just touch on that a little bit. For the last 2,000 years or so, we've been at a position on the 26,000 year calendar where we've been under the age of victimhood, and drama became the number one thing that most people were triggered by or fear. And a lot of people, even today, are what we call addicted to drama. This is why the movies with the most gore and the news that bleeds the most is the news story that leads the most, is because we have been through a certain type of oppression. This is everybody. And once you've been oppressed for so long, you may easily become an oppressor because that's what you grew up in. So we are leaving the age where drama leads. And we've got to learn how to let a lot of that drama go and expect drama and expect the problem. Even the training that we had as children was, we were taught how hard it is in the world, how tough it's going to be. It was about a struggle and a fight. It's always about the competition. But we also find that people who are winners are always focusing on their goal only. They're focusing on reaching a certain destination. And 90% of the journeys of life in life are always course correction. So we're going to have to course correct a bit here in order for us to get to the place that we need to be. The earth is doing it. The planet is doing it. We're moving to a new place. This is the time of the ascension, but we also must graduate out of the victimhood, the victim archetype. And in Gene Key 55, they talk about the I think it's the dance, the dream of the dragonfly, and how the dragonfly starts off as a nymph, and when it's in the water in the swamp, it's fighting, it's eating, it's everything. It's devouring everything, but everything is trying to devour it also. So it's living in fight or flight constantly, and it does that for say 2 years or so, and finally, it's something changes inside of it. The imaginal cells come online. It crawls up a reed, and for the first time, it gets its first breath of air, and its body splits open, and the little dragonfly emerges from the shell of this nymph, and it sees the world differently for the first time. And it's been in water, and the water represents the past. The water represents the victim archetype, the fight or flight syndrome. For the first time, it's got to really move quickly on ascending or changing or transcending and going through the alchemy of transformation. So, what it does is it takes the water that's still in its body, the water from the old world, the energy of the victim archetype, and it pumps that water into its wings to inflate its wings. The water of the past is used to inflate the flight. If we were to look at what we've been through as fuel, or as the in the garden, we're talking about taking ashes and the leftovers and making that the fertilizer, taking what we've been through as being the fertilizer to move us forward. That's what's going to help us right now. But we have been trained to think that history repeats itself. It's going to happen. It's bad. It was bad. It's going to be bad. And we, at some point, believe that. So we become that, because you become what you believe. And to believe means to follow blindly or to doubt who you truly are. But we all have us within us, the waters and the energy from the past, like the nymph. But we also are now awakening at this time in 2024, going into 2025. We have everything in us to take flight. The only thing that dragonflies do for the 2 or 3 weeks that they live is mate and make love. That's all they do, is make love. We're at the point where we're going to need to learn to make love out of the things that are in no way love. So everything is connected to its opposite. And once you realize that, that everything, right, is connected to what you like is connected to what you in no way like. You see, they're all connected. It depends on your angle. It depends on how you navigate your vehicle, your ship. So once we begin to realize that the shadow, when you study the gene keys, you look at the shadow of gene key 55. It's about the drama, needing drama. And a lot of times, if you listen to folks talk, it's mostly problems. You know, it's 80% problems, maybe 20% solutions. And if we turn that around and begin to speak 80% of the time about solutions and maybe 20% about the problem, it changes everything. It changes our frequency. And in order to get where we choose to go, we must change our frequency to match the frequency of what we desire. And we must live from the goal. Instead of thinking from the goal, we must become the goal and vibrate like that goal. And one of the things that's important to do is to detoxify mentally, physically, and spiritually from parasites. Mental parasites are ideas and experiences, right, that are eating us alive in the present. They're from the past. They're eating us alive. So, you know, parasites, what do? They use you as a host and they eat your nutrients, eat your energy. They suck your energy. So we've got to get rid of the mental parasites, you know, physical parasites. Those are beings that are eating our nutrition. You could take all the herbs you like and you could be the best in nutrition, but you're still going to pick up parasites that you've got to get rid of, because those parasites and those problems and issues that we have are basically like our, let's call them our sparring partner. They're sparring partners. They're testing you because masters, right, always test themselves. Why should the Kung Fu master go out and fight if he's fought everybody? Well, there's a new person in town. He's Kung Fong Yong Chong Pong. Why do you need to go fight him if you're home eating rice and ginseng? Because a master always tests themselves, and you'd like to go in to the toughest place. A lot of us don't remember being at another vibration, another place, in another dimension where we chose these lives. We chose our challenges. We chose our parents. And you say, I'd never do this. Well, that's because you're not thinking from the level of a master. We're going into mastery now. And right around 2027, everything will change depending on your mindset. But the way we're aligned right now in space, we're in a brand new place we've never been. Nothing is the same, but it's up to us. It's up to us what we focus on. That's how you create your dimension. That's how you create who you are, by being who you are, renewing yourself each day. Because when you go to bed, you basically go into another world. You die and you wake up the next day brand new. So you have to reaffirm each day who you are, and your why is really big. Why are you who you are? You see, are you your job? Are you your title? Or are you a being here at this particular time to bring something to the planet, right? To be a part of this great awakening that's happening now. That's our goal each day. And to reaffirm it, we got caught up into the spirituality of things. I've got a crystal and the crystal does this. Well, crystals don't do anything. I do yoga. Yoga doesn't do anything. Vegan, that doesn't do anything. I'm praying, meditating. Actually, it doesn't do anything. What does something is you becoming it. So you become the sage. You become the crystal. I mean, your body is crystalline. You are the crystal. You are the dark crystal. Watch the movie Dark Crystal, really good. Anyway, Jim Henson, Dark Crystal. We are what we are by vibrating and becoming the thing, not trying to become the thing, not waiting for it to save us. You see, spirituality or whatever that is, sometimes it's just symbols. Oh, I prayed all night. I did a 24-year meditation and I didn't speak. And you wake up and the first thing you do is look at the world and say, oh my God, the world is crazy. See, what's that all about? Because you're now internalizing what you think you're seeing. But what you're seeing is not what's really happening, because we as human beings only are able to interpret and experience a very small spectrum of life, of light, and of energy, and of vibration, and of the frequencies that are available to us. Right now, our DNA, that junk DNA, is coming online based on our environment. And your environment has a lot to do with your thinking, your feelings, right? Your food, Everything is part of your environment. So let's clean up our environments. Let's let go. Let's stop judging, because each time we judge somebody, we lose 1,000 years of knowledge. Each time you judge somebody, you it's like you regress. What do they call it in church? Backsliding. It's backsliding. Yeah. What other people are doing, unless they are part of your team and you're working together, it has nothing to do with us. It has to do with you being tested in each moment. It takes a lot for a diamond to become a diamond. It goes through heat. It goes through a lot of pressure. And that's what's happening right now. We're being tested. Are you a diamond? Do you choose to elevate yourself? Get rid of your parasitic thoughts, parasitic ways, and move past the last 2,000 years of the victimhood and stop looking for drama, because there you are when you find it. Okay, I guess I'll take some questions or some.
That is powerful, Dr. B. So I have a point that I made on something you shared, choosing challenges. You said choosing challenges. I think this can be a really challenging concept for people to understand when they've experienced extreme challenges in their life. Is it always something we choose, or are there other factors involved that bring these situations, experiences into our lives that can be challenging? Can you elaborate on that?
You see, our personality, who we are, like what we call our spirit, that's got something to do with your perception of how you see things, how your mind is formed, right? But your soul, which is everlasting, which is the light of the world, the light that is you, that's being projected from way out in the cosmos, right? It is pure. Like people, they say when I was in the music business, well, he sold his soul. Well, you can't really sell your soul. You can't sell the light. You know what I'm saying? You can direct it and do certain things to get money, but basically everything that we do, right? When you climb a mountain, each step you take, gravity's pulling you back. But when you are focused and when you're determined to move up that mountain, no matter what you're tested with, this is when you become great. And they say a lot of us came back many times because we failed the test. We got caught up in what we thought was happening. And we got thought up in, we got thought up. There's a good one. We got thought up. We got thought up into the evil one. I remember I used to have this dream about this evil being that chased me and chased me and chased me every night. And one day I said, I can't take this. I can't get a good sleep. And I turned around and faced the evil being. And it was the opposite side of me. It was my other side. It was my other self.
Next question for you. Sorry.
And in order to break that spell, I had to face it, and it disappeared. When I realized it was me. Yes.
You said that, becoming the thing.
Yes.
So what advice would you give to others who are experiencing that type of psychic phenomena? And even those who have children who experience phenomena like that, where things are coming, they're seeing, dark, creepy crawlies. What would you tell them? How do they navigate that?
Well, it's your perception of something that's dark, deep, like we say, dark is bad. Who said that? Like somebody said, well, bad things happen at night. Well, I got a phone bill the other day and it had 20 charges on there. I didn't know what the heck they were. And I called the phone company. They said, those are surcharges. Well, what is a surcharge? They said, well, it's a charge. Well, why? Why do I have them? And they couldn't even tell me. I said, well, this is evil. You won't even tell. You're going to cut my phone off if I don't pay it. And this is daytime. So you see, there's a lot of things that are testing you, constantly. It's like, even I didn't move into this next section of my life until they gave me a very short time to live. I was a very successful record producer. I was, quote unquote, on the top of the world. But I had to fall, right? I had to leave that world because it was totally controlled. It was totally controlled by people who want to control the mindsets of people. It was a part of the population control program. The frequencies, the sounds, and everything in all music has, if it goes through a mastering system and it goes through a regular record company, you have no idea what type of programming is being put in that music, because music is something that everyone enjoys, and music is something that can be programmed just like food. Some people don't buy food and they don't know what the ingredients are. You walk in a health food store and you buy this thing, and you say, "Oh my God, this is a plant-based burger." Well, turn it around and read it, and you will realize that it is based in plants. It was an industrial plant. There's more ingredients in some of this plant-based stuff that you're trying to make look like chicken or look like whatever. You see what I'm saying? But you figure you hear that it's good. You're testing yourself. Constant. You are testing yourself for greatness. No matter what pain you're going through. And when I got sick, you see, when they told me I had a year to live, I had to figure out how to live. There was no cure in their world. But guess what? I found plants and essences and herbs and meditations and ways of living where now all of a sudden I changed my life. I changed my dimension. And now I realize that opposition is what makes us strong. If it doesn't take you out, and there is really no death, you see, there truly is. It's just, a change of energy. The tree that dies becomes fertilizer for the next, for new plants. You see? It's a beautiful place that we're in. As long as we look at what's good, we, over the last 2,000 years, have gotten into the habit of looking at the problems and things we cannot control. And when you look at that world, that circle of what you cannot control gets bigger and bigger and bigger the more you focus on that, the more you speak on it. But if we focus on what we can control, that circle gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And you begin to attract, right? Through, morphogenic resonance, you begin to attract things that vibrate like you. So yes, we're going through a struggle, but know that that's temporary. It's a test. It's a test of the emergency broadcasting system. It's your other self saying, hey, we're going to make you strong because you need that strength to get that lesson. And one of my teachers told me, he says, every disease is a teacher. And you must learn from that dis-ease, from that problem, from that issue. So there is a lesson in it if we could get out of our feelings and our emotions and our judgments.
So it sounds like you're saying the entire structure of reality, it's you against you?
It's not you against you, it's you with you.
You with you.
So in order for you to be alive, here's quantum physics, you must also be dead at the same time. In order for there to be an up, there must be a down. In order for there to be a black, there must be a white. Everything is connected to its opposite. It's all about how you perceive it and what angle you're on. You see what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying.
In the programming here, because the whole thing is, most of the language that we speak is about commerce and war. That's the language that we speak. There's very few words to explain in English what's really going on here, because this is like a trading language. It's not one that where there are words that can say certain things or put across certain concepts. But once we step into getting out of the language and getting into the feelings, because if you could feel, like, let's say you desire something. Some people say, well, picture it. I remember I was in meditation class and they were like, oh, picture the thing you desire. Picture, 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 picture. It's all about the picture. I said, I don't know about the picture because we've been getting Photoshopped since Mickey Mouse. I mean, we don't know what we're seeing, cartoons. You really don't know what you're seeing because your brain is agreeing. Your eyes are looking for things that it recognizes and pulls that in. That's not what you're actually seeing because we're blinded to a lot of the frequencies that are available. But when you can feel as if your desire has happened, that's faith. Feel as if the thing has happened. But what's happening while you're feeling what you desire? A whole lot of other feelings come on. The voices, oh, you're no good. Remember that cookie you stole? You're a crook for the rest of your life. You're, all these voices, and you go tell your friends what you're thinking about doing. They tell you you're crazy. What do you mean you're on some program ascension for what? And see, they're not into to realizing what could change us here. They're caught in the old system, and you can't change it. A lot of times we're trying to help people that didn't ask for help. When I remember I first became a healthy eater, I was going to parties and everything I went to, I would stop and give a whole lecture about how bad their food was. I mean, I was just as bad as them because they didn't ask me. They're enjoying their food. Let them eat what they eat. You mind your business and business your mind. Once you do that, focus on what you're doing. And your friends most times are not going to follow you. Your families, they're not going to get you. You're going to be weird. So you must be ready to be alone. So when I made my shift in life, I was alone for many years. People thought I'd lost my mind. And I did, because the mind that I had was not mine. It was made up. It was given to me by my world, by the news, by politics. You have to choose. You have to choose the best of, choose the, what is it now? The lesser of two evils. Huh? Whoa, I gotta choose the lesser. Why do I have to choose evil at all? Well, you have to be counted. Why do I have to be counted? I need to count. I need to count within myself. I don't need to get a discount. We're always looking for discounts. When you say discount, looking for a discount, did you know your subconscious says, I'm not good enough? I'm not worthy enough? Your subconscious is actually giving you more of what you're speaking on. It's attracting more of what language that you use. You have to change your language, and you also have to be able to trust your gut. We're doing a course right now called The Body Never Lies. And that course teaches folks to use muscle testing, kinesiology, and the gut feeling to get what they desire. It's the best test for what is for me that I've ever used. I'm a kinesiologist now. I learned how to do the muscle testing. Never mind your cranial brain, because it's confused. It's been lied to. It's programs in there. But when you tap into the cosmos, when you tap into the Akashic records, when you tap into what they call the quantum field, there's answers everywhere. So we're teaching folks how to tap into what's really for them to make choices. Because if you ask your friends, they're going to be scared a lot of times for you in the name of love. Now, how does that work? We love you and we're afraid. Whoa! How do those two mix? Yes. I don't know if I answered the question. I go out there. So
I think you did.
Bring me back. We
got a lot. We got a lot there. I wanted to refer back to the spectrum of emotion and how that can serve us. I'm sure you've noticed a lot of times in spirituality, everyone's so concerned, be on that high vibe, but we do have that spectrum. So could you share a bit on how the spectrum of emotion can help us becoming our best selves?
First of all, this thing high vibe, I think it's a little tricky. Okay. Being on a high vibe. I know some people that are on such a high vibe, it's too high. Can you turn it down? Your ego is huge. You're out wearing all white, telling everybody to walk towards the hills. And this is, if you eat this, you're going to die. I'm like, your vibe is too high. As a musician, we look at the piano, right? And there's low notes, and the lowest notes are the female notes. The lowest vibration there is Mother Earth. The lowest vibration there is in our realm is Mother Earth. So what are you saying? A high vibe, which is Father Sky, is more important than Mother Earth. It's being able to be balanced and use the whole spectrum. Sometimes we've got to get into a lower vibe. Sometimes when you're depressed and all the way down, like there's times when I'll be all the way down. It'll be a place that I'm just through. I give up. I'm done. I don't know who I am. I don't know what's going on. Life is crazy. I just stay there. I learn to stay there. And then all of a sudden something clicks. And I use the same amount of energy to go high. And all of a sudden, everything I'm doing is in genius mode. But you can't judge the disagreeable. It's a part of it. It's part of everything. So the range of emotions, see, emotions are not bad. Emotions is energy in motion. And energy in motion tends to stay in motion until acted upon by an equal or opposite force. Energy it's in motion. Emotion is there to help you. It's like even fear. There's a healthy amount of fear. Like, don't stick your hand in the fire, you'll get burned. I mean, you see what I'm saying? But when you are in the place where you're fighting with your emotions, you're fighting with the angel, you're fighting with the messenger, you're fighting with the lesson, and you're arguing for your weakness. You ever try to help somebody and if they're arguing for their own weakness? Well, I'm this way. I've been this way for 44 years. Are you expecting just to change overnight? It's the only way you're going to change is overnight. Change right now. You could do it right now, but I've been this way. So you're believing that, because of your genes and because of all the things you've been through, you can't change. So you don't. So folks will fight with you and argue for weakness, like in the movie They Live. The biggest scene in that movie. This is the They Live from I think it was the 70s. The longest scene in the movie is where one guy is trying to get the other guy to put on the glasses so he can see the world for what it really is. And the guy doesn't want to wear the glasses. He says, I got credit cards, I got a job, I got this, but it's not real. So sometimes we have to be careful of spending too much time arguing for our weakness. The doctor said, I have this disease. Clients, when they come to me, the first thing I say is, what do you desire? And you know what they do? They begin to say what they don't desire. I don't want to have cancer, and I don't want to be lonely, and I don't want to have, half a prostate. And I don't want to, they explain over and over what they in no way desire. I said, well, what do you desire? And they almost can't answer it. It's like, it's a glitch. Something starts happening. Where would you like to be? What is the goal? Can you mention that? Even if they say, well, I need $1 million. Well, what would you do with that? Because taxes are going to probably take half unless you know what to do with it. What is the goal? How would you feel if you were at your place that you truly desire to be? Now you're using emotion, because feelings, right, which are part of emotions, feel the thing as if it's already happened. So emotions are there, but we've got to sometimes rise above emotion and get into what we call, emotional intelligence. And, I'm angry at this particular person. Instead of, here's the other one. They make me mad. Whoa, you just gave them a lot of power. They made you mad. Oh my God, these are wizards. What'd they do to you? No, I choose to be upset based on what you said. I choose it. When you say I choose and I allow myself to feel this. I allow myself to feel sad today. Don't bother me. I allow myself not to answer my phone. I allow myself just to float down the river. Row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. It's not what you think it is. It's a creation. It's a construct that we've all agreed to be here at this particular time and have this experience. Let's help each other.
Let's help each other. I want to refer back to something that you mentioned about Mother Nature being some of the densest frequencies. And we were talking about the spectrum of emotion.
Yes.
And you shared something that I resonate with, and it's going to those lower planes, just being in the depths of darkness when you feel like I'm not going to crawl out of this, but then all of a sudden you get that momentum. So is it possible? What is your take on this? Do those emotions serve us in some way, shape, or form with our embodiment of spirit?
Well, we need to feel. Feeling is important. That's why we're here. We're here to have this experience, where we have all of these senses, and that is a part of the godness or the universal God experiencing life or being able to see and feel and touch through us, you see. So all of that is important, right, for our experience and our lessons to be able to feel into things and experience them, to give us the perceptions that we need to be our best selves. The greatest people I've ever met have been through extreme challenge. Extreme. When you hear folks' story, it's like, oh my God. But they needed that to get where they're going. And if you don't have these sometimes harsh experiences, then you're not going to ever be the person that you need to be. So by allowing yourself to float and just experience it, but don't get caught, because some things are like a mood. You know how you go through a mood, you're having a mood, you're moody. If you hold on to that mood for 7 days, it becomes a temperament. If you hold on to that temperament for 21 days, you become temperamental. If you hold on to that temperamental self for 3 months, that hardens into your character. So something that happened that was brief and temporary, it was pain you went through, whatever, it was terrible. Now it becomes your life. It becomes your story. And now, you go out and meet people. You love people that talk just like you. You tell your terrible story. You're crying there. Oh my God. And then they start crying and they tell their story. You become best friends. You see what I'm saying? You're traumaholics. You're traumaholics. We're going to vote traumaholic. What are you voting? I'm voting Victocrat this year. Really? Victor? Me too. I really love this guy. because you're gravitating towards more of what you think you are. You see now. If sometimes, well, a person came to me once and he was going off on me, he was cussing me out. He says, "Your herbs, Dr. B, I don't believe in this, and all this meditation and all this is just trash. It's the devil." So he was calling me names, right? And when he was done, I said, "Wow, that was very interesting. I think you're right." He says, "Huh? You're right." Because he's righteous. He's self-righteous in what he believes. I said, "I apologize if I did anything to make you feel that way. I'm going to take all this into consideration." He says, "Consideration?" I said, "Yeah, that's when you go home and you lay under the stars and you allow the stars to give you the message." Consideration means to allow the stars to talk to you. And you see, my name is Dr. B Serious, so I'm connected directly to the stars, and we all are.
And we want to know more about that. So my question is, what part does humanity play in the cosmos? What is our significance? And then we had another question. Where is your origin? Where are you from? Where does Dr. B come from?
On the earth or cosmically?
Cosmically.
Cosmically, I was told by a Dogon priest that I was from Sirius. And I was here in this body to help folks do what the Syrians were doing. And when I look up the Syrian personality, it's me all day. So I'm here to help folks change. I'm not here to make people change or force them or heal. Some folks call me a healer. I've never said I was a healer. I'm here to help folks realize what they need to realize so they can begin to heal themselves. And that's what Sirius does. Sirius is it's our sun's mother, and it tells you what season you're in. It's always there. It blinks red, white, and blue constantly. It's always in the same position. So it's in a serious position, you see. So that's where I'm from. And I'm channeling the entities from that particular time space.
And what do you believe is the larger part that humanity plays in this cosmic game?
I think humanity is here right now to show us exactly how wild things can get if you just give people free will. See, I like the bees. See this? I'm Dr. B. The bees basically do something to make sure the hive is intact. And there's law and there's order in that hive. If you begin to poison the hive, and you start playing with the queen, the female role, right? All of a sudden, you have colony collapse disorder because you've played with the feminine thing. So for many years, it's been all about the masculine thing, masculinity. We're in charge. We know what's best. We're the men. But basically, it's the feminine, right? It's the earth element. It's the element that of change and nurturing and alchemy that has to begin to, nurture us back to where we are. So we're here as human beings to have all these experiences to send back to source exactly what is possible. We're here to be the best we could be. Even if you're being disagreeable or negative or crazy, you're here to be that. I remember asking my father one day, I says, "Dad, why are there homeless people?" He says, "Well, they're very important." I said, "Well, why would they be important? They're homeless." He says, "They're here to show you what to not be like." I was like, wow. We need that contrast. So some of us humans are here to show us contrast. And some people say, "Well, we're destroying the earth." I don't think you're destroying the earth. Your little plastic bags, your little stuff. All that stuff came from nature. They say that in 7 years, if all the people were gone, the earth would envelope all that stuff and destroy it, vaporize it, and start a whole new planet. We're not destroying the world. We're destroying our mindsets. And what we're here to do is to show, right, the limits of who we are. And we're also to show how we are limitless at the same time. Only a few people are going to make it. Everybody's not going to make it to the next level. Leave them alone. So those who are here to be the shining stars are going to shine. As long as they don't judge other people, stop talking about other people. If we keep looking at how bad it is, it gets worse. It gets terrible. Somebody asked me the other day, they said, "Dr. B, you heard about this, 2025? I said, "Yeah, I did." They said, "Oh man, it's bad, isn't it?" I said, "Well, what do you mean?" I said, 2025, man, it adds up to a 9. That means completion. 2025 is when the world opens up and there's new stars and there's new plants and there's new discoveries. And oh my God, and we're learning more about the friendly bacteria. And we're learning there's more organs in the body we're discovering. 2025 is an amazing year. He was like, well, where are you getting this stuff from? Because they're listening to the news, and the news is the noose. You see, you get listen to the noose, it'll hang you. You see what I'm saying? The nuisance. It's not true. They're news stories. These stories and more in a moment. That means that it's not a fact. What is a fact is who are you? Digging into yourself, the good, the bad, the ugly, laying it out, and beginning to do what we call alchemy, the transformation of yourself, and dissect yourself. And you've got to go into that, what they call that dark, that shadow, and see what's in there. Some of it isn't even yours. It was given to you. You see, you've got to figure out what is yours and what do you desire. Have a clear-cut goal, but you got to get rid of your parasites, mental, physical, and spiritual. Somebody said, well, I take herbs for my parasites. I says, listen, what you don't know, because I'm a specialist, I'm a scientist. There are parasites that eat your herbs, even your herbs for parasites, because there are superbugs that you have no idea exist that will eat everything. They'll even stop you from taking the thing that could get rid of them. They're controlling your life. That's why we created that elevated total body program. There's nothing like it. You can't use just herbs. Sometimes you got to use the mycelium network too.
We had Benjamin in the chat ask how to get rid of addiction. And I feel like that correlates to the work you do with your herbology.
Well, addiction is a couple things. First of all, it's usually a person who is trying to cover up something, or a lot of folks who were addicted, who, like when I was an addict, it was about so much information coming through me and I wasn't able to channel it. I didn't know what it was. I thought I was crazy. So I wanted to turn it off. So sometimes we're addicted to turning something off or covering something up. And that dopamine, which keeps saying, hey, more, just keep on, just feel good a little bit, feel good a little bit. And it doesn't help you to get to serotonin. When you get to serotonin, that's when you celebrate. So we've got to have small successes. So sometimes, a lot of folks have certain parasites. Like there's one called asparagus. Most people who are on cocaine have this parasite called asparagus. And it is also the one that keeps them hooked on sugar. Cocaine, sugar cane, they're related energetically. There's only a couple degrees of separation between the two. It's parasites sometimes. So it's between mental parasites, spiritual parasites, and physical parasites. And I do something called subconscious alignment, which helps a person's conscious mind and subconscious mind be focused on the same goal. So they don't, fight each other, because that's what's happening. Subconsciously, there's some programs in there that are off and they just need a little tweaking. You see? So even though I was on all the drugs at some point, I now sometimes talk to the drug rehab people who are in drug rehab. And I know how to talk to them in such a way, right, to be able to help switch off the switches that were turned on through trauma. A lot of it is trauma, and it's trauma bonding, and it's an excuse sometimes, but it is also definitely a dis-ease. And we can't blame the person who is on the drugs and be like, well, you just need to get off those drugs. And you got a closet full of medicines from the doctor, and you got sugar on everything, but you're not hooked on drugs when sugar is one of those number one drugs on the planet. When I went to AA, I went to the AA meeting. They were eating so many donuts and drinking Coca-Cola. Yeah. I was like, wait a minute. And then I got to get up and say, I'm on drugs. I'll always be on drugs, and I'll never be off drugs. You want me to say that? I mean, what's this a government program here? Look how much sugar the people are on. They're chewing gum and they're shaking. What is a drug? What is a drug? And who classified it as a drug? I can guarantee you that if you're hooked on something, the opposite of that is amazing. The opposite of it. All we got to do is get to the opposite a little bit at a time, one day at a time. Yes.
Powerful, Dr. B. Thank you so much. Dr. B serious. And I think about your name, and it's like the word serious. Yeah, you're serious, but you're not so serious because we're also having a real good time. Like it's a beautiful experience chatting with you. Can you share with the viewers how they can get a hold of you, how they can take advantage of what you've created to serve humanity and to help others? And then any final words that you have for the community?
Well, you can find me We have a company called Elevation Foundation for Abundant Life. It's actually elevationtime.com, elevationtime.com. And it's doctor because I'm not a doctor. I help folks document and cross, that's the T, cross into their breath. It was given to me. Doctor is a very powerful meaning. And it's a teacher of helping people breathe. And breath is life. So elevationtime.com. You can also find Dr. Be Serious on Instagram. And yeah, we're all over the place. We're teaching. We have a lot of classes. We have a class coming up. I don't know if this is a time-based thing, but we have a class coming up next weekend called The Body Never Lies. And it's kinesiology, personal kinesiology. And we're teaching people how to get a yes or a no, a definite yes or no on what's best for them. Not based on your friends, not based on the news, but based on you. And it works really well. So we're teaching folks how to do that. And there's a lot of classes that are there. There's another one called Got to Give It Up.
Everyone needs that class.
Yes, Got to Give It Up was great, and once you learn what you need to give up, then you can, find out what you'd like to choose. And you mentioned fun. Some people say, well, Dr. B, you're like a comedian. Do you know how many chemicals go through your body based on your smile? When you frown, the body says, oh my God, it's terrible. Fight or flight. Something's out there. Must be a poison saber-toothed spider. You know what I'm saying? There's a problem. But when you smile and when you laugh, you excite the humors. And there's 7 fluids, 7 7 types of liquids or oceans in your body. And that sends a message that everything is going to be okay. That's why comedy and fun is so healing. Laugh yoga. I think that's a new thing. Laugh yoga, where folks just go laugh. It's powerful. Because if you look at that, it begins to overwrite the program of how bad it is. We're not saying it's not bad. We're not saying it's not all bad. We're saying it's not all bad. So I would like to say that each of us is here to do something. And if you really would like to seek the higher you, the better you, then it's time to elevate and let go of the past and stop talking so much. Loose lips sink ships. Go private. You can't bring your friends and family with you all the time. But in order to elevate, you've got to let go of what's holding you. Usually it's parasites, mental, physical, and spiritual parasites. And at elevationtime.com, we specialize in helping people get rid of their mental, physical, and spiritual parasites. And each one of you, just from being on this program, is changing everything. This is how you change. You shift by coming together. We're all a family now. Some of us have never met before, but we're meeting for the first time. I remember when Neil called me and he was telling me about what he was doing. I was like, yeah, I'm in. Anything that is helping us come together in oneness. And, like I said, we've got to get away from the place of the colony collapse disorder. We've got to put the feminine, the queen, back in place, right? That feminine energy is extremely important. And we also have to remember love. And the most powerful thing is forgiveness. I forgive myself, my family, and others for imperfections. I forgive myself, my family, and others for imperfections. If you could just get that in your system and program it into your cells, everything changes. Nobody's perfect. There is no perfection here. Everything is changing and growing. Elevationtime.com. Come join us and have some fun. Let's laugh. Let's go play. Get on the swings again. Did you know, real quick, that if you get on the swings, it changes everything? Because your body says, I'm a child again. The average adult lives life as an adult based on conclusions of a child. If you get on the swings, like as an adult, your whole body begins to go back and your telomeres begin to repair themselves. You become younger just from getting on the swings. Go swing. You don't even have to go far, just go a little bit. And you begin to smile, and that wind hitting you changes you. It's time to get on the swings again. That inner child is waiting to play. This whole thing about you got to grow up, stop your acting. You need to act a certain way when you get a certain age. Well, that's why you age. Be a child again. Go have some fun. Take off your shoes. Take off all your clothes if you can. Run outside naked, but some folks can't do that. That would be great, though. Lay on the ground naked and let Mother Nature talk to you. Let the mycelium network in your body connect with the mycelium network in the soil, and everything changes. Go have some fun.
That's right, Dr. B. That's right. You'll catch me when I'm in one of those downs, looking in the mirror, laughing and smiling at myself like a lunatic, and just having a good time, trying to lift myself out of that place.
Yes. It's easy once you start doing it, but you
Yeah.
gotta have fun.
It
You gotta go do
becomes
something for fun.
fun.
Don't go on vacation and sit on the beach thinking about your job and your problems. Go out there and forget everything and have some fun, right? Go comedy. Go check out comedy. But laugh, learn to laugh and smile. Smile. Even when you're sad, just try to smile and all of a sudden you start feeling a little better because that chemistry, right, begins to go through your system and says those muscles that create the smile, they actually change the environment. And there's more information going from your gut to your brain than from your brain to your gut. When you smile, did you know there's a whole group of friendly bacteria that wake up that were sleeping? Just that alone. That's a real serious probiotic. You're smiling and your feet are on the naked ground. The naked ground. That is what tells your friendly bacteria to wake up because those are your alien friends here to help you.